It is possible that there are many more heritage language programs in the U.S., considering the U.S. Census. As shown in this slide, there are 7 languages spoken by more than 1 million people at home. They include Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog, French, Vietnamese, German, and Korean. Chinese ranks 2nd, Korean 7th, and Japanese 20. The degree of possibility gets higher when considering that 60% of the heritage language programs are community-based, and that many ethnic communities are not aware of the aforementioned database program. Let's take one example of Korean heritage programs run mostly by its community that are not reported up here. As shown in slide 15 here, according to New York Korean Consulate, there were 159 weekend heritage language schools in 5 states: New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philadelphia, Delaware, serving almost 10,000 students. Having examined numerous data regarding various programs, offerings, and enrollment, let's recapitulate our discussion and its implication by highlighting the following remarks. The majority of U.S. people live in a multilingual environment. Even though one may speak one language, one hears people speaking other languages. The notion of bilingualism needs to be examined in various contexts, and this paper proposes a term, global bilingualism, which can be tentatively described as follows. From a perspective of East Asian ethnic communities, especially Chinese and Korean communities, global bilingualism promotes studies of East Asian bilingualism that have been underrepresented, since it involves many ethnic communities that have not been known to the general public. Global bilingualism supports East Asian bilingualism that will advance a global study of bilingualism in terms of linguistic features that are shared among 3 languages: Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Here one should note that many words in Japanese and Korean originated from Chinese language, and Japanese and Korean are very similar in terms of language structure. Global bilingualism encourages East Asian communities to play a leading role in conceptualizing global bilingualism in the U.S. Global bilingualism addresses a multifaceted language identity in a comprehensive way by breaking away a stereotype of linking between race and gender. For instance, white speak English and non-white speak a foreign language or English with an accent. It is hoped that these statements play a role of stepping stones for further research of global bilingualism. In conclusion, global bilingualism in U.S. from a perspective of East Asian communities is very promising, challenging, and distinctive. It will broaden the scope of research and bilingualism in a more balanced way. Thank you. Global bilingualism involves various components of a language competence, including a critical awareness of language diversity within a speech community. Global bilingualism promotes multiple forms of language instruction and experience, including ethnic community-based activities. Global bilingualism disregards a stereotypical distinction between prestige and non-prestige languages in this globalizing world. Global bilingualism addresses multiple issues regarding social justice and critical languages. There are similarities and differences in notion between global bilingualism and multilingualism. Here, interested observers will note that the notion of global bilingualism is quite similar to that of plurilingualism, a notion that Francophone research has contributed in original way to issues of language learning and bilingual development in multilingual context. However, a notion of global bilingualism here is derived from US-based data involving a large number of languages spoken at home. An in-depth discussion of the difference in notion between these two terms or two notions will be discussed in another paper. Nevertheless, we can make some statements about research of global bilingualism from a perspective of East Asian communities by highlighting important issues.